So I let my community vote on what deck profile they would like to see, and this is what y'all voted for. You freaks! I absolutely love you. And here it is. Don't let the card sleeves fool you. This is actually a GGO deck, and this may be the best, optimal, and consistent GGO deck in all of Weiss Schwarz. That is a joke. Please don't hate me. We are going to talk about one of the manliest decks in all of Weiss Schwarz. Hold up. Hell yeah. And also, this may be the most American deck ever constructed, because America really does have an issue with gun violence that we really don't like to talk about. But that's besides the point. Hell yeah. This is gonna be a super quick deck. This is a mono blue 2-soul arch army deck. So let's get started. We run 3 of the True Identity Devil Elza. She is on play, pay 1 Climax swap, and on reverse, bottom deck bomb. I mainly run it for the Climax swap because if I don't have the +2 soul, or if I need the +2 soul, I'm going to be able to switch it out. Also, the pay 1 helps dig through your stock and try to keep it clean as well. So we do run 3 of these. Excellent combat skill M is add 3. When you play a Climax, you give a character 500 power until the end of your opponent's turn. And act, pay 1, rest this card. Top check your deck and add it to your hand if it's a character or an event. I would love to run events, but you will see why I don't in a second. I mean, I literally cannot. This card, kind of sucks, honestly. I would prefer if the Climax effect was a global 500, that way I'd have more power on the field. And again, like the last card, I use this to pay 1, try to keep my stock clean, help cycle through my deck, and if I need a card, I can use it to dig. I run 4 ENCORE Pita Hui. She gives 500 to all of my characters during my opponent's turn, and she has a pay 1, tap 2 Searching Brainstorm. Again, pay 1, keep your stock clean. I do use this to cycle through my deck, and the Searching Brainstorm is nice, but the tap 2 is pretty rough, especially since the M, this one right here, is a tap self. I would prefer to run the double rare lens, the tap self Searching Brainstorm ones, but I am not spending $15 or $60 on a playset for a meme/garbage deck. Yes, I'm monetized on YouTube. I'm not wasting my money like that though. And here is the Climax Combo. We run 20 copies of the Machine Guns Are Fun Zemal, and we do run 4 of the Climaxes for the Climax Combo Sadistic Smile. Okay, so this really doesn't have a Climax combo. This is your army target. You cannot play events or backups from your hand when this is on the field, hence why I do not. This gains 1k power for each copy of itself. You're going to have these buff men at 6k5 with a full field. Have you ever seen a player try to figure out a way to attack when there's a 6k5 wall of burly men with machine guns staring back at them? They sweat. They honestly panic and sweat. Also, the dichotomy of cute anime girls and fucking machine guns is hilarious to me. So generally at this segment, I explain how the combo works, but not in this case. You play Climax, you smack, turn ends. It's as chimp brain as possible, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And now we're going to the level 1s. There are no level 1s. And now we're going to the level 2s. There are no level 2s. Okay, so that is kind of a lie. So I do run 4 copies of Gun Enthusiast Pita Hui. She is a 4-character early drop, and her other 2 effects use events, which I don't use, so there's no point of explaining them in this deck profile. I mainly run these because it's a 4-character early drop, and she has a 9k5 beat stick. Oh, well, she's not that much of a beat stick, but she can get on the field for 2 stock. That is it. This deck is so smooth brained, I am not sure why you're still watching this. Origin of the name M states that when this is played from hand, you could top check your deck equal to the amount of characters that you have on the field, and then you add a card. And during this card's battle, when damage you receive is not cancelled, you could ditch 2 cards and you burn for the same amount. This has won me some games, not all the time, but it is there as a good option. The digging is nice, it helps me cycle through my deck, it replaces itself instantly, and it is good during your opponent's turn. It's a good support card, and it's a good defense card. Overall, it's pretty solid. The last card that I run is Hobby Talk Pita Hui. I told you this was going to be quick. On play from hand, draw 1, this gains 2k power. Then when this card's battle opponent is reversed, you can pay 2, ditch 2, burn 5. The draw is nice, it replaces itself instantly, and it is pretty boosted up at 12k power. And you know, the burn, don't really use it, but it's there as a just in case. And then I do run 4 of the Resurrection of the Devil Climaxes. I run this because when I trigger them, I can salvage a Climax. And depending on what my next turn is looking like, I'm either snagging the +2 soul or a copy of itself. As well as this is the Climax combo for a pretty solid level 3, but like I mentioned with the Len, I'm not spending $50 on a playset for some card that is going to be relegated to a joke deck. So for the sake of argument, let's just say I did have the money to get those cards. I would switch these Brainstorm Pitohuis for the Len Brainstormers. I'd cut these down to 3, cut the M down to 2, cut the Pitohuis to 3, and then run 4 of the Climax combo Pitohuis. So in a sense, this is not the most optimal build, but I just told you how to make the most optimal build. So now the next question is, why? Well, this deck is super fun to play. One of the strong points is that there is never a point where I do not have a playable card. I have so many level 0s that can smack for big and even a bomb. You just throw things down and play the +2 soul and you watch your opponent sweat. Now, like I did mention in my other +2 soul video, make sure you know when to side attack, because sometimes crashing is not the best option. Another thing that this deck does well is that it generates stock fairly quickly. You're not paying much, so you try to keep your stock clean as much as possible. You're going to be sending at least 2 cards to your stock minimum per turn. And if you trigger a Climax, it's not a problem. You just remember where it is and you pay it off. Of course, with a +2 soul in play. Now, some weaknesses. There is literally no real play. The second weakness is the milling. Oh my god, this deck is so slow to cycle through. I played a match. My opponent was through half of their second deck, and I was still in my first deck. Yeah, I could toss in some cards that mill and cycle, but that's no fun. I try to keep it as machine gun as possible. Lastly, because of this card, I cannot play events or backups. And like I mentioned, this card, its other 2 effects are dependent on events. This card would have been amazing, but it's just fine. Blue has this event that's actually super good and would help me cycle through my deck, but this is literally dead in this deck, especially up to level 3. Yeah, the Pitohui is an early drop, but you're gonna have 4 of these fuckers in play to get this on the field. Now, I would run these for my level 3 plays because I'm gonna have this one, the M, or the other Pitohui on the field, maybe like a Brainstormer as well. But at that point, it's just gonna be a dead card, and I mainly would be running this to help cycle through my deck. But at my level 3, am I really gonna be trying to cycle through my deck? No, not really. All in all, this deck is super fun to play, and it's cheap as hell if you do not run the Len Brainstormer or the Pitohui Finisher. But granted, this deck would be better with them. I really am a fan of army decks because I just think they're just a blast to play. They're fun as hell, especially when you start playing it and then your opponent's like, what the fuck is happening? Why are there too many cards on the field? It's great. It's a fun time, especially with the +2 soul. Ooh, baby, +2 soul is going to be meta, I swear. Either way, thank you all for watching, and a major thanks to the people who voted in the poll, and a super big thanks to all of my channel members. I could not have built this deck without your support. Literally. This is what I use the channel money for. And on that note, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Weiss Schwarz news and content. Follow me on Twitter @CasuallyWS, and I will see you all in the next one.